This is the world's most dangerous jail, which is built on an island in the middle of the ocean. And these are the 3 prisoners who escaped from this dangerous jail in July 1963. For these 3, escaping from there was not easy because every half an hour, every prisoner's cell was checked, and 24 hours, every prisoner was kept under watch. This jail was so secure that even if prisoners were left free, they still could not escape from the jail. Even if a prisoner managed to escape without a boat or raft, it was impossible to swim 2 kilometers across the deep ocean. Either they would drown in the ocean and die, or they would be caught. But they had a solid plan to escape from jail. A plan so perfect that even 10 hours after their escape, the police did not even realize they were gone, and they had started preparing for this escape 6 months earlier. Now, the question arises, when every half an hour, every prisoner's cell was checked, how did the police not realize that these 3 had escaped? And without a boat or life jacket, how did they manage to cross the 2-kilometer-long ocean? Frank Morris, Clarence Anglin, John Anglin, and Alan West. This entire plan was masterminded by Frank Morris. He was the oldest among them in the jail and knew every detail about it, where and when the security was high and which routes led outside the jail. Frank first told the 3 that they somehow needed to get transferred to Block B of the jail, because the walls of the cells that were only 6 inches thick, much thinner than the other walls of the jail. Breaking and making a hole in them would be easier. They did exactly that. Each of them submitted a request to the jail administration to be transferred to Block B because they had issues in their previous block. A few days later, their request was approved, and all 4 were transferred to Block B. Luckily, their cells were next to each other. The first step of the plan was successfully completed, but what they had to do next was not easy at all. They had to make a hole in the back wall of their cells so that they could escape from their cells. Obviously, they could not get a hammer or a drill machine in jail, so they stole knives and spoons from the kitchen to dig into the wall. But the problem was that police officers were patrolling their floor all the time and kept checking frequently. If the police got even slightly suspicious or heard the sound of the wall being cut, their plan would completely fail. But Frank already knew this and had a plan for it as well. Every 2 days, there was a musical class in the jail where all the prisoners would gather in the ground and listen to songs on speakers and learn to play the guitar. Even the entire jail's police officers would be there with them. Taking advantage of this, the 4 of them would return to their cells and start cutting their walls. Due to the loud music, the sound of cutting the wall would not be heard by anyone. They continued doing this for several months, and by now, they had almost completely cut through the walls. But their next challenge was that they had to escape in the darkness of the night, while the police officers patrolled their floor all night, checking every cell. Even if they managed to escape from the jail within minutes, the police would find out about their escape and they would be caught. For this, they made fake human heads using newspapers and glue and collected hair from the jail's barbershop to stick on these dummy heads, making them look real. Their plan was that when they escaped from jail, they would place these fake heads on their beds so that when police officers saw from a distance, they would believe the prisoners were still sleeping in their cells. Everything was going according to their plan, and no police officer suspected anything. But the biggest problem in their plan was that even if they managed to get out of the jail, how would they cross the 2-kilometer-long ocean? For many days, they thought about it, but no solution came to mind. Frank had planned everything, but even he had not considered the ocean. However, he was confident that if they thought together, they would definitely find a way. Finally, after 15 days, Alan West had an idea. He suggested that they should steal raincoats from the police officers. 2 days later, when the musical class was held and all the police officers went downstairs, they took advantage of the moment and stole several raincoats. The next day, Alan West used glue and thread to stitch the raincoats together to make a raft that could be inflated with air, allowing them to cross the ocean. Now, everything was completely set. The hole they had cut through the wall was also completed. Now,